Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Jason, good to see you. Thank you for being on Popternative.
Thanks for having me, Petey. How are you?
I'm doing well. I mean,
Right.
Here's the thing. 4th of July is around the corner.
Yep.
As you can see with your visuals, I mean, you are not a stranger to the pies. And, you and Edwards Desserts have teamed up for something really cool. And people can get their hands on a really cool, passionate pie, it seems like.
Passion fruit. We won't say passionate, although, yeah.
Passion fruit.
Yes, they can get their hands, hopefully just their hands, on this, Petey. It's very exciting. Look, I've been the pie guy now for 25 years, which is crazy to think.
Mm-hmm.
And, people ask me a lot, are you annoyed, to be known as the pie guy? Does it bother you? Does that all people talk to you about? And the truth is, like, it does not bother me. It really, really doesn't. I'm not just saying that. I'm very proud to be a part of this movie and this franchise, but it is ridiculous that I'm like the pie guy. It's just kind of a funny, I don't know, I'm able to like take a step back from it and be like, oh, that's funny. It's ridiculous. It's weird and bizarre. We can't
forget about saving Silverman a loser, okay? I just want to say that,
thank you. Petey, I do appreciate that. But at the end of the day, I am really known as the pie guy, and I will be for the rest of my life. That's what has occurred to me. So, this partnership, I feel like the timing is so right. There's lots of nostalgia, I think, around the movie. I certainly have a lot of it myself. And, it's Edwards, they've been wonderful because they also were down to lean into this idea of me being the pie guy and sort of making fun of this idea that I'm the pie guy, America's biggest pie lover. It's very ridiculous. And they were, I think we created a little campaign here that is a lot of fun and is nostalgic, but also kind of irreverent and totally in line with, my comedic sensibilities. And it's, what's even better about it is we got to create this new pie flavor, which is super cool. Like, look, Apple, love Apple. Apple, I love you. A lot of history with Apple. Very special place in my heart, and elsewhere. But this is more in line with my flavor profile, what I like to eat. This is more my jam, pun not intended. This is like vanilla crust and tropical. It's got a tropical flavor vibe going on. Some gold leaf on top. This is it's called Pie Lovers Passion Fruit, like you said earlier. You can get it at pieloversunite.com. You can enter to win a limited edition pie here. And so this just felt like the right timing, the right partnership.
I could hear it, by the way. We'll just tell your mother we ate it. I could hear it.
Yes, totally.
So here's the thing. These movies were very important for me growing up. I have to tell you, you know what I mean? And, because being a 90s kid and everything, the one thing I was super excited to talk to you about when I got this interview confirmed is I discovered my favorite bands from the American Pie movies. Like,
oh, wow,
literally, dude. And, Thomas Nicholas, I did an interview with him last year, and I want to know if you remember this. He said that they put Dude Ranch by Blink-182 in your trailers with a note that said, this is the next Green Day. Do you remember any of that?
I do remember that. Okay. That is so funny. I totally remember that. Blink-182 was in our movie, if you remember. There's the scene, obviously, the Nadia scene, watching on the computer. They are
Go Trig Boy, it's your birthday.
Yeah, they had Trig Boy, exactly. They had a monkey on one of their, there was a monkey on one of their backs, random. And, but yeah, they were in it. Travis Barker, he's there. It's so crazy. They have American Pie as a credit. We are 0 degrees of separation. It's pretty wild. I remember they had the CD of Dude Ranch and they were like, this is going to be huge. And we were like, what? So, but not just Blink-182. There were so many bands.
Sum 41.
So many bands. Sum 41.
American Hi-Fi.
Harvey Danger. I mean, my gosh, in the first one, there was Green Day. Green Day,
Scumbag, yep.
Yep. There were so many.
The Offspring, Weezer, so many. Even Michelle Branch. It's one of the best songs
Michelle,
ever. I just have to say.
Michelle Branch, Matt Nathanson, a bunch over the years, over the course of the 4 movies. There were so many wonderful artists, and
even an American Reunion, like when the trailer came out, they put a Good Charlotte Last Night. I love that song. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm telling you, I talk about this. Like I've talked to like pop punk bands on my shows before, and like Sum 41, Blink-182 are their like influences. It always gets brought up. Like if it wasn't for American Pie, we wouldn't know these bands. It's crazy to think. Is it also crazy to think that, people talk about some of their favorite kind of teen movies and raunchy movies now, like Superbad and everything, and a big argument could be made that those wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for the American Pie movies. Is it always, that will never not get crazy, right?
It is pretty crazy. Yeah. It's, but again, having 25 years distance from making that first movie, it so much has sort of come to my attention. Like I'm able to see that experience and see the American Pie movies in a totally different way. It's I won't say objectively, obviously, because it's so subjective to me. Of course, I'm so involved in it, but it's I don't know. I'm able to see it differently. I'm more grown up. Obviously, it's a lot of time has passed, and I'm able to see how influential it was on not just audiences, but like you said, on other filmmakers, films that came after it. But you know what? Look, you're always a product of the things that come before you. I mean, when we filmed this movie, we talked about Fast Times at Ridgemont High. We talked about, we talked about other movies. So it's that happens. But yeah, the fact that American Pie left that kind of mark on the teen movie landscape and made that kind of an impression is not lost on me, and I see it now more than ever.
It's so quotable too. Like me and my sister and I, we always quote sometimes when someone calls us. I swear to you, Jason, we'll always sometimes go like, "She's on the phone. She's on the phone. He's on the phone. Nadia, long distance, New York." Like I swear, like
that's amazing and very specific. By the way, that's not a quote that I hear like a lot of. Sorry, my earpiece is coming out. That's not a quote that I hear a lot of people use. Like that's pretty specific. I love that you guys run that back.
Oh man, I could think of a lot of there's so many, but it's just so getting back to Edward's Desserts, because like pieloversunite.com, they can go find more information for that. I feel like at one point though, after maybe American Wedding, that really started to sink in. Like there's a legacy here where there could be more partnerships and projects. Would you say it was after the third movie when that kind of started to sink in a little bit? Like that this is going to be here forever with me, like the Pie connection and everything?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, the Pie I you know what? Honestly, it was sooner than that. I mean, the Pie connection, honestly, I remember the night the first movie came out, Jay Leno doing a bit about the pie, making a pie joke. Even before the movie came out, there was a clip of the pie scene, a very quick shot of me with the pie in the very first trailer that had come out in the movie theaters, and people went nuts, and that's what they were talking about in chat boards online and stuff. And so even after the first movie, it was clear that this pie scene was going to be something. It was going to be part of the cultural zeitgeist, not just for that moment, that it would probably stick around. And obviously, the more movies we did, the more apparent that became. But I remember making a joke. I remember someone actually sent me a video. It's available online. Or someone found it online. I don't think it was that easy to find, but of me giving an interview after the first American Pie and making a joke about me doing an endorsement deal with a baked goods company.
And here we are.
And here we are, 25 years later. The timing is finally right.
And pieloversunite.com, Edward's Desserts, they can check that out. Jason, it was an honor and privilege to speak with you. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.